Denim. It's durable, it's iconic, and my lovelies, it's begging for a second chance. Welcome to the ultimate Refashionista denim extravaganza as chosen by you. I'm diving deep into my denim archives and serving up a chronological catwalk of my most loved, most watched, and most worn DIY denim transformations. So grab a cuppa, get cozy, and prepare to be inspired. This is more than a roundup. It is a Refashionista revolution of recycled style. Let's rewind the denim timeline and get refashioning. We're going all the way back to 2013 for the first tutorial, and look at young Sheri there. Now, for the older tutorials, for sure I'm going to have to redo the voiceovers because I was literally using a Samsung video camera to film these. So let's just dive right in. The first thing you need here are, of course, some chopped jean hems and some bits and bobs to decorate them. Then all you're going to do is chop that jean hem to size so it fits around your finger like a ring, and then you're going to stitch those raw edges together using a sturdy blanket stitch, and then go ahead and decorate them. You can do a little bit of embroidery, you can use brooches, you can just stick or sew a bunch of beads on it. Here I use little rosettes and bows, and if you want, you can even make some bangles to go with them. Here's another one going all the way back to 2013, and I actually still have that funky lurex and mohair sweater, so yay me. Now we're just going to make a cool denim topped maxi skirt here, and all you need is an old pair of jeans, a skirt, pins and scissors, and your sewing gear. And the first thing you're going to do is fold your jeans in half as evenly as possible. Then you're just going to chop off those legs, making sure that you chop below the pocket but above the crotch area. And you're left with just the top of the jeans here. Then you just want to cut off any excess bits here, even up the bottom. I believe that's what I said there. And here we are. We're going to pop our skirt into the jeans. And here is a quick tip for you. If you use a skirt with an elastic waistband, then you do not have to worry about gathering it up or anything. You just make sure that your jeans are lined up just below the waistband with the right sides facing, and of course the side seams lined up. Then once it's stitched together, you can go ahead and chop off the elastic. Now I always use a straight stitch followed up by a tight wide zigzag, and there you go. As you can see, I did chop off that waistband, and it looks great. I also did a zigzag over the outside seam just to help it lay flat, and you're done. You have a lovely swingy spring skirt from old jeans.
Oh, hello there. Today Sheri's going to show you just how simple it is to transform that dowdy denim shirt into something new and fantastic. And you know what? There's no sewing involved, so stick around.
For this fast and fantastic project, you'll need your denim victim, something with a hard surface, a piece of scrap wood, scissors, sandpaper, and my fantastic denim distressing secret weapon, a 3-in-1 barbecue brush from the dollar store. So I decided I want to make this into an adorable little cropped blouse. So first, I'm simply going to chop it to my desired length. So because I want my end result to be quite a distressed look, I'm also going to be chopping off the hems on the bottom of the sleeves. So I also want to make this one of those funky cold shoulder tops. So I put the shirt on and then just made a little semicircle with a piece of chalk, you know, about the area that I want to cut out to create the cold shoulder. Once you're happy with the position of your mark, go ahead and fold the shirt in half, lay it on a flat surface, and chop out your semicircle from both sleeves. All right, now comes the super fun, destructive, distressing the denim part. And you want to grab that 3-in-1 barbecue brush, place one of the chopped areas of your shirt onto your safety board so you don't scratch up your work table. And starting with the lovely kind of metal wire brush part, go over that chopped off edge of denim. As you can see, it really nicely kind of distresses and pulls out threads for you, which is a lot faster than sitting down and manually pulling the threads out. Now, once you have all of the threads pulled out that you like, you can then take this little scraper part and kind of scrape it across the denim and just keep going over and over all the areas that you would like to have a distressed look until you're happy with them. If you want a more subtle distressed look, then grab some sandpaper and just go over certain areas to kind of just wear out the denim a little bit. I wanted to lighten up my denim, so I went ahead and gave it a nice soak in a mixture of bleach with warm water. How amazing and really dramatic is this transformation? I absolutely love it. Hey, so I've been on kind of a denim bleaching kick lately, and so today I thought I would show you how easy it is to embellish that bleached denim a little bit more with some of the leftover denim scraps in your stash and create your very own patchwork kitty shirt. For this delightful denim embellishing project, all you need is your shirt, a scrap of denim, scissors, chalk, some buttons for eyes, and your sewing gear. So your first step is to simply fold that scrap of denim in half with right sides facing, and then go ahead and sketch out the general shape and size that you would like your kitty cat heads to be. Keep in mind, you should leave a little bit of extra for seam allowance and fraying.
Subscribe to my mom's channel, follow her on social media, and buy her ebooks. Yay! Thank you!
Once you're happy with the shape and size, go ahead and cut out both layers. Et voila! You now have two adorable, if basic, kitty cat shaped heads. And here's my absolutely favorite tool for destroying and fraying denim, a barbecue multi-brush. You have pretty much everything you need here to really give those edges a nice frayed look and give the body of your denim or the legs of your denim or the arms of your denim a really worn look as well. So yeah, let's get started. Always put a piece of cardboard or something else down on top of your work surface to protect it from the barbecue brush. And then go ahead and first, using the wire brush, just kind of go over all of the edges. You can see already how quick that it pulls and frays the edges. You can also go over the edges with the scraper tool, and this will help to pull out more of the threads. And as a final touch, go around the edges with this firm sponge, and that will really kind of finish off the fray. Once you're happy with your fray, go ahead and chop off all the loose threads. If you want an even more frayed look, go ahead and toss those little kitty heads in with your next load of laundry, and that will really encourage those edges to get frayed up even more. Grab some buttons and go ahead and stitch them on for the eyes. Once you're happy with your little kitty cat faces, go ahead and pin them in place on the shirt and then stitch them on. If you'd like to, you could also embroider a little nose and whiskers, but I wanted mine to just be super simple and subtle. Once I had stitched on my lovely little titty kitties, I went ahead and threw the shirt in with my next load of laundry, and as you can see, it really did help to make that fray even more fabulously funky. I absolutely love my patchwork kitty shirt. Let me know what you think in a comment below. Today I'm going to show you what to make from those groovy chopped hems. And of course it is denim hem accessories. You can make rings, you can make groovy bracelets. These ones I actually made way back in 2013 or 2014, and they are still going strong, and they honestly are my favorite accessories because they go with just about anything. So let's get making! For this quick and easy project, all you need are your denim hems, a variety of buttons, a needle and thread, or to make this a no-sew project, your trusty glue gun. I store my vast and varied vintage button collection in repurposed olive jars, and those live in this adorable little wooden crate case thingamajiggy that I scored for only 10 cents at a garage sale. And then all you have to do is, of course, attach the buttons to the denim hems. Now, you could simply glue them on, but I find that stitching them on lasts a lot longer. It's a lot more secure as well. Now, if you're unsure of how to stitch on a button or for anything to do with hand sewing in general, pop on over to my site and pick up my Sewing Basics ebook. Editing Sheri here. Instead of getting that book from that oldie but goodie tutorial, go ahead and check out the links down below for all of my absolutely fabulous printed books. They are awesome. Once you are happy with the amount of buttons on your denim hems, then all you have to do is loop them around your wrists. Et voila, you have some absolutely awesome denim button bangles. Oh, hi there. If you don't already know, but I'm sure you do, I'm Citrus Maloney, and I am what is known as an influencer. And that means I totally have my finger on the pulse of what is trendy and cool right now. And you know something that is totally coming back again is destroyed denim. And today, Sheri is going to show you how to transform some really dowdy mom jeans into something totally on trend, and that is destroyed boyfriend style jeans. And yeah, it doesn't take any sewing at all. For this quick and easy no-sew project, all you need is your dowdy denim, an X-Acto knife, a piece of chalk, a block of wood that fits into your dowdy denim, and a barbecue cleaning brush. This is my favorite denim destructing tool, and it can be found at pretty much any dollar store. So your first step is to pop the jeans on and mark the areas that would naturally become worn out over time. For example, the knees. Next, take your block of wood and pop it in between the layers of denim, right behind your marks. Then grab your X-Acto knife and very carefully cut through your marks. Once you're happy with your slashes, grab that barbecue cleaning tool and using the metal brush, simply go over and really kind of try to age and fray up those cuts. Now you can see this lovely little brush definitely frays up the denim nicely. You can also use the scraper tool to scrape away at the denim, and that will really give it a nice aged and worn in look as well. I also like to go and wear out around the edges of the pockets, and also a little bit here in the thigh area where the jeans would naturally bend when you're sitting down. And my destroyed holy denim is now ready for the final step to make it really look old and worn out. To give your denim a more aged and worn out look, simply pop it in a bath of hot water and bleach. And within an hour or two or more, depending on how light you would like it to be, there will be a definite color change happening. Now, obviously, once you are happy with the color, you will go ahead and launder as usual. And the laundry process will also fray and destroy these edges a little bit more. You see, what did I tell you? How cool and awesome was that tutorial? I mean, I'm Refashionista Sheri, and today I am going to show you, hopefully, how to transform all of those denim bits you have lurking at the back of your closet into an absolutely awesome version of a fabulous designer dress that I already did a groovy celeb copycat for. So let's get making! To create your terrifically tiered, upcycled denim dress, you'll need a denim shirt, a few pairs of jeans, and your sewing gear. First step is to simply chop the legs off all of your pairs of jeans. And because I'm thinking I'm going to be transforming these jeans into, you know, funky cutoffs, I'm going to definitely be leaving enough that they can still be worn as cutoffs. Next, we're going to chop off the bottom hems from those jean legs. And if you're looking for a use for those chopped hems, I shall put the link for my absolutely groove-tastic denim hem bracelets and rings. These are like so cool, and I wear them all the time. And now we got to chop out those thick side seams. So now we have, from one pair of jeans, 4 denim strips, which should be more than enough to make one tier for our dress. But first, before we stitch anything together, we have to kind of make them about the same size. So yeah, just kind of lay them on top of each other and chop on through. Next, we're going to stitch all of the pieces together end to end with right sides facing, so we have one long line of denim. Once you have your long strip of denim, then stitch those free ends together to create a huge tube of denim. And yeah, your first dress tier is now complete. So go and repeat the entire process with your other pairs of jeans. Once you have your denim loops all created, then go lay everything out on the floor. And yeah, pretty much just put it down in the order that you want to put it together. So I'm starting at the top with my shirt, then I have my smallest denim loop, the next biggest one, and then finally the largest one. And yeah, now I'm going to go see if I can manage to gather all this together and make it look like a dress. So unfortunately, my denim here was simply too thick for my thrifted vintage machine to gather for me. So I've had to kind of do all these little gathery pin tucks by hand here, but that's okay. I think I did pretty good. And I also want my final result to be kind of deconstructed looking, and I really want to have visible frays here on the edges of all of my tiers. So instead of pinning it together with right sides facing, I have pinned it together with the inside, wrong side of the fabric facing, and then I'm going to stitch it all up, and hopefully when it's all stitched together, then everything will fall nicely, and I'll have these cool visible frays on the edges of all the tiers. So yeah, I'm going to go stitch it all up, and we shall see how this first level comes out. Well, I think my little pin tucks, you know, came out pretty darn awesomely. These cute little ruffle result I have here. Now I just have to go and repeat the whole process with the other 2 denim loops to create the rest of my skirt tiers. And yeah, let's see how it's all gonna come out. And the finished product after a wash, because I have found that when you wash things, it really encourages the denim to fray. And I mean, how perfect did that come out? Those denim frays look absolutely awesome. This came out so incredibly adorable. It is lovely and swingy. I'm gonna see if I can add this groovy placemat to this kind of boring but totally awesome, of course, jacket that I recently thrifted. And pardon me, Mr. Jekko. Yeah, it looks great with my groovy little refashion pin here. So you know what? Let's just get started. Let's go add this to this jacket and make it funky. So to kind of liven up the back of my jacket, I could just stitch this on, but that's not really me, is it? So instead, I think I'm going to see if I can create a pocket on the back, and I want to have a top flap to my pocket, so I've lined up the placemat here on the bottom with this little bit of decorative faux fur, and I think that's about the right size for a top pocket flap, so I'm going to now chop this to size. So this part is of course going to be the bottom part of my pocket, and the chopped bit, will be the top flap. But because this fabric is definitely going to fray, first I'm going to go sew up these chopped edges. Okay, that is all nice and stitched, and it's not going to fray at all. So now, because I want to kind of keep this faux fur detail on both sides visible, I think that would actually look pretty good, and then the pocket would puff out a bit, right? If I gather it up a little bit at the bottom here, and then, yeah, I'd have extra room in the pocket. So that's what I'm gonna do. So I stitched on both of the sides, and I've gathered up the kind of center part of the pocket, really trying to, utilize the pattern again for my kind of, center middle marks here. And now I'm just going to go stitch the bottom on. Look, I got a pocket. I got a pocket on the back of my jacket. So now all I have to do is go and stitch the top flap on. And I think I'm going to have to gather the center bit on the flap as well, just so it matches up properly. And my top flap is done, and I actually didn't have to gather it at all because the top part of the jacket here was a little bit wider than the bottom part, so that worked out great. This is not easy. Okay. Okay. Hello. How fantastic, again, I keep saying how fantastic, sorry, it is very, very hot. This jacket is very hot, but seriously, that came out so cool, and the fact that it's, a pocket is so just awesome, just totally awesome. Ooh. Hello, I'm Refashionista Sheri, and this shirt is so boring, you're going to need a nap. Anyway, I'm trying to liven this up here with these funky blue sunglasses, but it's not working. This shirt is so boring. And it has 3/4 sleeves, which I don't know about you, but I cannot stand 3/4 sleeves. They just, I don't know, they're always sitting right at my elbow, and then when I bend my arm, it's very, very annoying and it gets tight. I just can't stand it, and it's boring. I am not a fan of kind of darker denim washes. I like light denim or black denim and not really a lot in between. So we have to do something to this shirt today, and it's gonna involve a lace curtain. So let's go do it. For this boring to brilliant project, you'll need your basic denim shirt, some sheer fabric like tulle. This is actually the last remaining bits left over from my DIY tulle curtain skirt from 2014. I shall link that oldie but goodie tutorial for you down below. Some elastics, the magical Refashionista ingredient, that is bleach, and of course your sewing gear. So the first thing you have to do is do up a few of the buttons just to keep the front closed. Then, now comes the fun part. We get to do accordion folding, and you want to grab one of the sleeves and fold it up and then back under and then up and then back under and then up again. And then I just like to do another little kind of fold there, and then grab an elastic and put it all around to hold my folds in place. That's it, super simple. Now do the other sleeve. Once you have both of the sleeves folded, then you can move on and do the body of the shirt. I like to go from side to side, but if you prefer, you can go from collar to hem. It's all in your own preference there. And you're just doing the exact same thing, folding in and then folding back behind and then in again, and then back behind and then in again. Very, very simple. Then I like to fold up the bottom to the center and of course secure with my elastic. And then I'm going to repeat the same thing with the collar side and fold in my collar a little bit and then fold this over to that side. So you're going to have kind of something that it's just a big folded mess of folds. And now my shirt looks like a very interesting modern art sculpture. I did actually go ahead and kind of squish up the collar a little bit and secured it all with elastics as well. All right, let's move on to the next step. Okay, so I have my sink filled with enough hot water that it should cover up my little denim sculpture here. And now I'm just going to add my bleach, and I don't really measure anything. I just kind of, you know, let's say that was 3 pouring passes around my sink, and that should be more than enough. And then I'm just going to saturate this. And yeah, I really should be wearing gloves because this is bleach. So here we go, kids. Wear gloves when you're doing this. Don't do what I do. Do as I say, as, you know, our parents were so fond of telling us. Anyway, now I'm just going to leave this here and come back every 20 minutes to half an hour and check on the lightning and see how it's going. Yeah, so I'd say it is definitely time to take this out. Full disclosure, I did forget about it, and it's been in here for over an hour without being checked. But I still think it's going to come out great. Wowza, that came out so absolutely perfectly. I'm so pleased with that. Let's move on to the next step. So to transform this into a vest is so simple. All you have to do is chop off the sleeves as close to these kind of armhole seams as possible. So now that the sleeves are off and I'm just kind of looking at how cool the cuffs are, I'm thinking if I have enough of the curtain fabric left, I just might add sleeves to this in the exact same way that I did to my denim dress to jacket refashion. I shall link that down below, and let me know what you think. Let me know if you think I should add sleeves to this once it's all done or not. So now I have all of the buttons undone on my vest, and I'm just going to pop up the collar here just to make life a bit easier and grab my curtain fabric. And now I'm pretty much just going to do like an overlay. Okay, it is all now really loosely pinned in place, and I'm going to go stitch it all together, but how I'm going to do it is by following these kind of bulky seams here. So I'm going to be stitching all along here, all along the button placket, and then once it's stitched on, I can just go and trim off the excess kind of overhanging fabric. So now you can definitely see better what I meant. And there, I just stitched all along right beside the button placket there. I also went all the way around the pocket, all the way around the shoulder seam, and now I just have to go cut off all of this excess fabric and, of course, you know, free the pocket from the little cage it's in right now too. And then once you have everything all chopped out on one side, go repeat the whole process on the other one. And here's another one that came out so totally amazing. Now, I do want to know though, should I add the sleeves to it? I know all of we refashionistas experience this where you make something and you think, yeah, that came out great. But then you're kind of looking at it, you put it on a few more times and you think, eh, not really my style. I can improve this. So that's exactly what we're going to do today with this awesome, already half done project. And I think we might add some sleeves, shorten it. I don't know. Let's go down to my studio and get making. For this pretty darn easy project, all you need is your sleeveless top plus enough fabric to create 2 sleeves for your top. Now, I also grabbed the sleeves that I had previously removed from this shirt in the original tutorial because I actually want to attach the original sleeve cuffs to the new sleeves because I think that's going to look pretty cool. So I'm going to do that as well. Okay, so to find the measurement for your sleeves, there's actually a couple of different ways you can do that. Of course, you can simply eyeball it, which, I mean, why not, right? You want this to be a quick and easy project, just eyeball it. You can grab your fabric and, just let me open it up here, gonna line it up with the shoulder seam at the top, and then bring it down to the underarm seam, add a couple of centimeters for seam allowance, and then just gonna fold that in half. And now I just can chop this here, and I pretty much have the correct width of my sleeve. And because this fabric is already the correct length that I want, I don't have to worry about that. But if you want to do things totally properly, you can, of course, grab your tailor's measure and measure this out like so, and this is 28, so I'm going to add 2 centimeters for seam allowance, 30, which will then, because it needs to be doubled over, become 60 centimeters. So now I know that I need a width of 60 centimeters, and then you can simply measure the length of a sleeve that you like the length of that already exists in your wardrobe, or you can measure your actual arm length to get the correct length. Okay, so I have 2 pieces of my fabric. They are pretty evenly chopped into the same size, and I have folded each of them in half. Now I'm just going to go stitch one of the open long edges together and create 2 tubes for my sleeves. Hooray! I now have 2 lovely light and airy sleeves. But remember, I said I wanted to add the original sleeve cuffs onto the new fancy sleeves. So let's do that right now. So clearly the first thing I have to do here is chop off the sleeve cuffs, and I want to give myself at least a centimeter here of seam allowance because I don't want to be stitching on top of this really thick denim seam. Okay, so I have my sleeve inside out and I have my chopped cuff right side out, and I am going to put my right side out cuff inside the inside out sleeve, and then that way when everything is flipped right side out, I will have the right sides facing, which is what we want. Okay, now I'm gonna do what I always do when my exterior fabric is bigger, wider, longer than my interior fabric here, and I'm just gonna do my little pin tucks to match everything up together before I then stitch it together. So if you've been following me for any length of time, then you will know that pin tucks are like my favorite thing because they're very, very easy to do, much easier than gathering fabric with your machine and trying to match everything up. And I just really actually like the look of it. I really like the gathers that pin tucks leave you when it's all stitched together. So I'm gonna go and finish doing this, and then I'm gonna stitch it together, and then I'm gonna do the other one, and then we can put it onto the vest. My sleeves are done and they look freaking awesome. That is so adorably fantastic. Now let's put them onto the vest. Okay, so I have my vest inside out, I have my sleeves right side out, and I am going to pop one of my sleeves into the armhole of the vest, and then, as always, I will have the right sides facing. And now I'm going to line up this kind of underarm seam here of the sleeve with the underarm seam of the vest. Shake everything down, get it all lined up together, and now I can go stitch it together. And you see, my eyeball measuring worked out pretty darn awesome this time. Okay, the sleeves are on and they look so frickin' adorable, but I am not happy with the length of this. It's just a bit too long for me, so I'm going to chop the length and then we can try it on and style it up. So as you can see, I took it a little bit further, and after chopping it, I found some adorable vintage lace in my stash, and I bound up the chopped edge. La la! This is another one that came out phenomenally well. How adorable does that look? And, you know, more proof that refashioning, it's just the most awesome thing ever, because you have something in your blah, blah, you have something in your closet that you don't really like, so you refashion it. But it turns out that that is also something that maybe you don't really like, so you know what? You just refashion it again into something that you absolutely love and will totally wear. I mean, I like this so much now because it's just so pretty and delicate here, and I really love the combination of a delicate fabric like tulle with something more, you know, hardy like a denim. Holly, hello, I'm Refashionista Sheri, and I love this jumpsuit. I just rediscovered it at the back of my closet, and it's one that I refashioned more than a few years ago, and I went to put on the belt that I wanted to wear with it, and it looked like this. Gross. So today, that's what we're going to do. We are going to fix this peeling faux leather belt and make it wearable once again. For this quick and easy project, all you need is your peeling and damaged faux leather belt, plus whatever kind of fabric you want to use to recover it. I mean, you can use anything as long as it is long enough to cover the entire length of the belt. And, you know, something like this type of lace trim would look absolutely adorable. But for myself, I was looking in my stash and I found this. Now, if you've been following me for a while, this looks like such a mess. Anyway, if you've been following me for a while, you will recognize this long strip of frayed denim as what I use to kind of liven up my very, very boring rubber rain boots more than a few years ago now. But sadly, those boots sprung a leak and I can't wear them anymore, so this has been sitting in my stash. But I was thinking, how cool would that look to have like a kind of funky layered frayed denim belt. So that's what we're going to do today. We are going to take these strips of frayed denim and figure out how we can stitch them on to this appealing fraying faux leather belt. Let's get started. Okay, so the first thing I have to do is remove the belt buckle here. So I've just grabbed my seam ripper because it is simply stitched around, so it should be pretty easy to take off, I hope. Anyway, we just, I just don't want to rip this. Okay, this might take a little while, so I'm gonna go finish this and we'll see ya when the belt buckle is removed. So I managed to finally get all of the thread removed. I'm just gonna push that through, and there we have two separate pieces. But like, that looks really gross. So I think I'm gonna clean that before I do anything else. Okay, so I just spent what felt like an eternity chopping off all of the long frayed threads and ironing this and then rolling it up to make my life easier when I'm gonna stitch it on. But as I was doing that, you know, my mind was wandering, and I remembered an even older belt fixing tutorial that I shall link down below for you guys. It is totally cool, totally quick, and totally no-sew. So yeah, that'll be down below for you as well. And now let's figure out how we're gonna put this on here. So first I was thinking to start kind of like that with the end overhanging a little bit, so I can then go back and trim it, fold it, and maybe hand stitch it, and then just wrap it around like so, and then go just simply stitch it all together. And I think that is gonna look pretty darn cool. So yeah, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna wrap all of this around as best I can and then go simply stitch it on all the way around the edges with a easy straight stitch. Okay, so I started wrapping it all around and kind of figured, yeah, I don't really like how it looks. I want it to be more like stripes going down. So that's what I'm going to do. And I think it's going to be a lot easier to stitch it on if I just start at one side, stitch straight down, and then just fold it over and come back and stitch the next layer down and then the next layer. And then I should have kind of like three cool little frayed denim bands going all the way down my belt. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Not the first way, this way. Okay, so as with most of my refashions, I've never tried this before. And so once again, I am thrilled with this result. It actually came out looking exactly like it did in my brain, so that is fantastic. And you can see here, because the back was actually okay, it wasn't peeling or fraying at all, so I just went a little bit down from the end of the belt to start my wraps, and I think it's going to be totally fine. So now we have to work on the buckle. Okay, so for the buckle, I'm pretty sure all I'm going to have to do is wrap this around, but I'm not sure if I actually want to be stitching it, or you know what? Now let's take the easy way out, and I'll grab my glue gun and I'm just going to glue this all the way around and yeah, then reattach it to the belt. Okay, so here's my quick Refashionista tip for when you're using your trusty old glue gun. Always make sure you protect your work surface. So how I protect mine is I have this very thin, almost totally transparent cutting board piece of plastic that I got at the dollar store, and it works great. The glue never goes through it. Plus, as extra protection, I also have my adorable vintage hot plate pad thingy here, which I'm sure in the olden days somebody maybe would have put, you know, their soup on it or something, but now I use it as extra protection so I don't damage my work surface. So yeah, double your pleasure, double protection. This came out absolutely fabulously. It is perfect. So now I'm just going to, which side should we do? Put this back through like it was before. Okay. And it's very, very thick and quite awkward, so I think I'm just going to go quickly hand stitch this back together, and then I can try it on and style it up. Yes, another awesome, quick, and relatively easy refashion. And now I can wear this belt again. I think this looks pretty darn cool. Now, I know there's going to be some people out there going, oh my God, I would like never wear that. And to you, I'm sorry, but I have to say then, don't make it. It's so easy. Don't make it. Then nobody's going to force you to wear it if you don't make it. Because I think that might be your fear, that someone is going to come and force you to wear some kind of refashion you made that you don't really like. So just don't make it. Anyway, that was just a little, I guess, PSA for anyone who needed it. Anyway, I think it's okay with this all black jumpsuit because it's, you know, all black except for my little groovy embroidered patches here. But I thought, let's try it with like an all black dress as well and see what it looks like. And I think it'll be okay. And also with a patterned dress. Let me know down below which kind of look you think is best, and also how you might style this fraying denim belt refashion. Hey yo, I'm Guy, and you know, I handle logisticals and security for Refashionista Sheri, but yous already knew that because you seen me around here before. Now, I bet yous didn't think I could get dressed up, but look at me now. The only problem is this vest, it's, you know, got bleach thrown on it, and I'm not so into it anymore. So I think I'm going to let Refashionista Sheri transform it into something that maybe she wants to wear. We'll see. We'll see what she does with it. For this quick and easy yet oh so awesome project, all you need is your vest. Now this one I have clearly already done my reverse dye bleach technique on. You need something to create your sleeves, and so I grabbed this pair of outgrown fleecy PJ bottoms because I think that will make totally adorable sleeves. Plus it matches perfectly with this kind of mottly pattern here and the mottly pattern here, and it's all blue. So you know what? Let's just get making it. Okay, so you can see that I have one of my arms through one of the legs of the PJ pants. And now I'm going to pop my vest over top. It's just a really easy way to get the basic measurement, the basic length you want for your sleeves. So I think that's pretty good. And I always like my sleeves to be a little bit longer than my wrist, so to kind of go on my palm like that. And look how nice. Oh, that's going to look so fabulous together. Right, I've got my pin here. And I'm just going to pop a pin right there, right under where the armhole seam is here. There, you can see it there. And now I can go cut my soon-to-be sleeves to size. Okay, so now I have folded my PJ pants evenly in half. And again, you could be doing this inside out. I'm doing it right side out. It really doesn't matter that much at this point. So my pin, if you can see, is kind of buried there in the plushy, fluffy fleece. But now I'm just going to cut both of the legs to size. Okay, so I now have my vest inside out, and I'm going to grab one of my chopped legs, and it is right side out, and we pop that into the sleeve, and then when they're stitched together, everything will be right sides facing. Hooray! Okay, so my chopped legs here have a seam. You can see here going down each side, and so I think I need to turn it so the seam, I don't want the seam to be going down the shoulder, like the side of the arm, so okay. Now it should be going down each side. Okay, so now I'm just going to line it up here as best as I can. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to have some overlap. That's totally fine. You can just trim it off when it is all stitched together. Actually, maybe I should line it all up. Hey, should we do those pin tucks up at the top that I like doing so much, and then it'll have like a little gather? Yeah, let's do that. All right, so I grabbed my pins and just gonna pin the bottom in place and then make sure it's nice and even-ish, close to even as possible here. Okay, so now clearly I have this piece here up at the top that is going to be, you know, it's wider. So I'm just going to start gathering it. Where should we start? Okay, let's start just before the shoulder seam, a little bit before there. And that's it. So here's my version of a pin tuck. You just take your fabric, fold it over a little bit like so, and line up those edges, and then pin that in place. Hence the name pin tuck. Haha! Okay, I have one sleeve stitched on, and I'm pretty sure it looks fantastic. Full disclosure, I did end up only having to do one pin tuck, and I also did go ahead and put those side seams at the top and the underarm. Just, it made life so much easier to use the seam on the trouser leg or the pants leg and line it up with the underarm seam and the shoulder seam. It just made my life easier, so that's what I did. And yeah, let's just flip it out. Wow. Okay, look, the pin tuck is absolutely perfect here. And oh my goodness, let's go do the other one the exact same way right now. Okay, both of my sleeves are on and it looks fantastic. It fits great, but I think that the collar is missing something. Luckily, I still have the top piece left from my PJ pants. So I think I might chop this up into strips maybe, and, you know, put it all the way around the collar area here, just to add a little bit more pizzazz to this cozy, funky little jacket here. What do you think? Should we do that? Let's give that a try. Okay, so I have cut a strip off of the remaining piece of PJ pants, and now I'm going to fold it in half with right sides facing and stitch it into a long tube, then flip it right side out because the chopped edges here are super fraying and I just don't want to have to deal with that around the collar of my jacket. La la! How absolutely adorable does that look? And I think it totally finishes this off. I mean, come on, you guys. Can you, seriously? Once again, another triumph, and made from what? Old pajama pants and a old tacky vest, and it is absolutely so super cool. And this too came out so lovely around my neckline, and look, there is a little puff here, just like I love, of course. And I really have wanted a long denim jumpsuit for a while, so I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna upsize it because it was just a couple of bucks, so why not? And yeah, you can see, I don't know, can you see? Ooh. I even have the pockets like out so I could do up the bottom portion, so you know, I was not going to offend anyone with my bottom portion on display. Anyway, so today that's what we're gonna do. We are going to upsize this jumpsuit, but I'm going to do it in a totally different way that I have never tried before. So let's get making. For this hopefully quick and easy, totally groove-tastic jumpsuit upsizing project, all you need is your too tight jumpsuit. And because I am trying something totally new once again today, you're also going to need enough fabric to go from the bottom cuffs all the way up the jumpsuit, over the shoulders, back down the back side, and all the way down to the bottom leg cuffs once again. Hopefully this is going to work. Let's give it a try. So I have flipped my jumpsuit inside out, and you can see here I have 2 chest pockets. So the very first thing I'm going to do is carefully remove them, because I don't want to have to cut into the pockets, and maybe I will put them back on at the end. I'm not sure quite yet. We'll see how it goes. So I have my seam ripper, and I'm just gonna, as carefully as possible, get rid of these pockets for now. Hooray, my pockets are finally off. That took forever because this fabric is so thin, even though I'm pretty sure it is denim. It is a very, very thin denim, so I had to be super careful when I was unpicking the seams, especially up here. The corner seams up here were like crazy, sewn over and over and over and over. Anyway, whatever, blah, blah, blah. That took forever. It's done now. So now let's move on to getting the measurement for my panels. So to get the width that you need for your side panels is actually pretty easy. You can simply eyeball it, or you can do what I'm doing, and I'm just using an existing jumpsuit to kind of figure out how wide I need my panels to be. I love how this one fits me. Oh, I'm sorry, Guy. This one fits Guy perfectly, and he kindly let me borrow it for this project. But if you don't have a jumpsuit and if you don't want to eyeball it, you can simply use a loose-fitting t-shirt and a pair of loose-fitting lounge pants or sweatpants to get your general basic measurements. Okay, so I have my jumpsuit laid flat, the one that fits me loosely, and now I'm just going to place the tight jumpsuit on top of it and line up the collars and the shoulder seams, the underarm area as best as I can. Okay, pull this up so you can see. All right, now you can see here the amount that I'm going to need to upsize this one. And I have this on both sides, but I'm just going to measure one side, of course. So let's go with the waist area here because it seems to be the best. And it's about 5 centimeters, but I'm going to stretch it to 6, and then I'm going to add another centimeter or 2 for seam allowance. So that's going to take it up to 7 or 8 centimeters. So I'm going to do 8 centimeters just to be super extra, extra loose and wide. And if anything goes wrong, then I have that extra centimeter if I need it. So to get the length of the panels, I'm going to need, I have grabbed an even longer tailor's measure here because I'm going to measure from the top of the shoulder seam all the way down to the bottom of the leg cuff. And you can see it is pretty much exactly 150 centimeters, but because I need it for the front to go all the way around and back all the way down the back side, then I'm going to need 3 meters. So 300 centimeters plus, of course, a couple of centimeters for seam allowance. So let's just make it an even 305 centimeters. So I'm going to do 305 centimeters by 8 centimeters wide. So let's go cut up that fabric. So I just noticed something pretty cool about this fabric I'm using, which, by the way, I thrifted like 7 years ago when I was still living in Germany. But look at this. The squares are just about almost exactly a centimeter each. So if I wanted to, I could just literally count the squares, but I think I'm going to use my measure anyway. Anyway, let's go cut the fabric. Okay, I have my incredibly long fabric inserts done, and they're pretty much the same size, so that's awesome. So you can kind of see my plan here is to make super long suspender looking inserts that go like all the way down, plus all the way down the back. And yeah, let's go see how we're gonna chop up the jumpsuits so I can insert them now. Okay, so I now have my jumpsuit inside out and I have it laying flat on the floor. And how I'm going to chop off the sides here is just by starting up at the top of the shoulder seam, and then I'm going to go chop all the way down, making sure that I do not chop through the area here where the pocket is. So I'm going to have to measure a little bit maybe, or I'm just going to eyeball it probably. And then I'm just going to keep going all the way down and chop through the bottom hem. And I'm going to do that on both sides. So I just almost had a terrible refashioning mishap when I was going and smoothing the fabric so I could cut it nicely. I felt something here on the behind, and look at that. There is a pocket that I did not notice. So before I cut anything, I have to remove this singular pocket that is on the behind of my jumpsuit. Okay, so I have cut one side all the way up here, and full disclosure, after I removed that back pocket, I did go ahead and iron the whole thing so all the seams were nice and flat. Now I gotta cut the other side. Okay, so because I couldn't simply fold this whole thing in half and use one side as a template for the other side, I then did go ahead and I used the chop side as the template here, and you can see I, as carefully and as nicely as I possibly could and as evenly as I could, I have placed the chopped side onto the not chopped side, and now I'm going to use that and simply cut as close as I can to the edge here, and hopefully that's going to give me some even-ish chopped sides. Okay, now I'm left with this, and it looks pretty even-ish, so I am happy with that. Now let's go put in our insert fabric. Okay, so now you can see that I have the center part of my jumpsuit right side out, and I have one of my long fabric panels with the right sides facing to the jumpsuit. And of course, I have to stitch this side to the raw edge here, the chopped edge of the jumpsuit. So then when it's folded out, this is my fabric panel here. Like, that's going to look so cool. And then the other part of the jumpsuit is going to be attached on this other side of the fabric. So hopefully it's going to be easier than it sounds. Okay, so to create my length, I had to stitch two super long pieces of the fabric together, as you can see, and I'm going to use my center stitch area here lined up with the shoulder seam. And then hopefully that way it's going to look, you know, like it's supposed to be, like that. Okay, now I'm just going to go stitch all the way down and around. And yeah, then we're going to come back and attach the other side of the jumpsuit. So it is all stitched around the front and the back, and because I don't have a fancy serger, I did go ahead and after doing my straight stitch, I did a quick, tight, wide zigzag all down my straight stitch once again to help prevent fraying. Okay, now let's have a look. Look, that matches up just about perfectly, and how awesome does that look? This is going to be so cool. Okay, how awesome is that going to look once it's together? So now I definitely have to kind of puzzle this together. So I need to have right sides facing. So I'm going to flip this like so, to make sure that I have my pocket and everything on the front, because that's where it goes. Alrighty, and now I'm going to line up, just like I did before, line up the shoulder seams with my fabric connector seam here. And now I can go and stitch all of this together using that exact same technique, first with a straight stitch and then with the zigzag over top. Okay, it is all stitched together now, so it is time to flip it out and see how successful this actually was. You guys, that came out exactly like I wanted it to. Look at that. All the way down, all the way down. It is awesome. I am so excited. Oh, right. And on the back side, of course, on the back side as well. I am so excited to repeat the whole process on the other side. And then, of course, we're going to try it on and style it up. Holy crap, you guys. This is, I don't even know. It was touch and go for a long time there when I was filming this. This took me like the entire day to make, to try to figure out how to put stuff together, and the ironing. So much ironing. So I really wanted to have nice seams and everything, which is why there was so much ironing, because I've taken the advice of you guys, and anytime I ask you about ironing, you're always like, freaking iron your stuff, it looks so much better, the seams are so much crisper. And you know what, you're all right. So thank you, I am now ironing. So I've had these lightweight, oversized for me, men's jeans in my stash for way too long, and I really wasn't sure what I wanted to do with them, but they're super soft and worn in, and I think they look pretty cool, but they need something, right? So thankfully, TikTok came to the rescue, because it kept showing me the latest fashion trends, and apparently denim maxi skirts have made a comeback. So today I'm going to show you exactly how to transform a pair of loose-fitting jeans into an awesome denim maxi skirt, and then you too can be right on trend. If you've been with me for a while, you already know I am a content creating monster, and I put out new tutorials and articles and posts every single day on my blog and channel and social media. So whenever I find a new idea, or what I think is a new idea, I hop on over to my blog and I search for it just to make sure I have not done something identical or very, very similar before. So I was super surprised that I've never actually created a maxi skirt out of a pair of jeans before. I never have. I've done loads of other denim skirt type of projects, but never an actual maxi skirt. So yay, we are doing this one for the very first time. It's amazing. Okay, so let's get started. What you need are, of course, your jeans, and I'm using a pair that actually fit me quite loose and down low around my hips. They are men's jeans, and I just thought these would make a good Refashionista victim. So you need your jeans, your seam ripper, and of course your sewing gear. Because these are quite long on me, I'm just going to chop off the bottom hems, and then that way it should hopefully be easier to get rid of all of these seams with my trusty vintage seam ripper. And as always, these shall be going into my stash of chopped hems, and then in the future will probably be transformed into denim bangles or rings. So because I chopped off my hems, it's actually so much easier to remove this inseam here, because we got to go from one bottom leg here all the way up around the crotch and all the way down through to the other leg. And you just want to open up that entire inseam. This is one of the times where I am very happy with whoever made these jeans, because once I got really started here, it turns out I can just pull, and that whole length of thread is going to come out, and then I just have to pull it from the other side, and then hopefully this other seam is going to be just as easy. This is just so satisfying. Alrighty, the legs are totally open, but you can see here, like, the back bottom area is super bulky, and we have a little bit of bulk going on here in the crotch area as well. So the first thing I'm going to do is open up this front seam right under the zipper, just until that bulk can easily be folded over, if that makes sense. So probably, let's see, let's fold it there to about here. All right, it is all open, and I did end up going all the way up to right below the bottom of the zipper seam here. And you can see what I mean. This now folds in nicely behind, and then this is going to come over the top, and it's just gonna be a really cool little detail in the front. And so now I'm just gonna go stitch down here, following the exact same stitch lines that I removed, and here as well. And then we're gonna do something similar to the back. Look at how perfect that came out here. It is so nice and flat, and it looks pretty cool. So I think I'm just going to repeat this process on the back side as well. I've opened up the back seam here to just a little bit past the bottom of the pockets. And when I fold it over, it goes flat. It looks fine and everything. But you know what? Look at this. I don't quite think I need to have a big slit in the front and then a big slit in the back as well, because it's just going to look like cut up jeans, right? So I think I've come up with a better idea. I have my jeans inside out, and now I'm just going to flip them. So I have my jeans inside out with one of the sides facing up. And you can see here, there's an awful lot of bulk in the bottom area, which I don't need. And you know what? I've been trying this on and taking it off over and over and over, and the waist really is too big for me. I don't have to undo the button and the zip to get it on and off. So I think I am going to do a little 2-for-1 for myself here, and I'm going to take in the waist and close up the back at the same time. So the first thing I'm going to do is remove this back belt loop. I'm just going to stitch it on again when it's done, and then I'm going to just simply stitch all the way down here, right between the pockets. So it's very important that this is lined up evenly. And I'm just going to go all the way down until almost the very bottom, because I still want a bit of a slit in the back, just not so much as it would be if I did the other version. So you can see I did go ahead and stitch all the way down, and I did a gentle angling curve here at the point where I wanted the slit in the back to be. And I did first a straight stitch, then as always I did my tight wide zigzag over top of my straight stitch, because I don't have a serger and it really does help to slow down the fraying, especially with denim. And now I'm just going to go chop off all of this excess fabric here because it's quite bulky. And again, here is a tip. Make sure after each step you're trying this on just to check the fit, because as I said, if I wouldn't have done that, I just would have done the back the same, and I would have ended up with a waist that was too big and 2 huge slits, one in the front and one in the back. Not a good look. And as I said I would, I stitched on that belt loop again, and it covers up the seam here at the top, which is very cool. I was very lucky with these jeans because they are quite thin, so I could stitch this back on with my machine. If you have really thick jeans, I did share a tutorial about how to fix torn off belt loops, so I'll link that down below for you. And for some reason, a lot of people had a lot of opinions on that, so go look at the comments. It's quite funny, actually. Anyway, look, I think that looks okay. Everything looks super even, which is a rarity for me, but I was looking in, let me just take you over here. If you watched my video about my studio before and after tour and how I store everything, you remember my baskets here that I have on my little filming table. And I just happened to glance over here, and here is a bunch of pockets. And look at these. These actually are the pockets I took off of my jumpsuit Upsize. And so I've had these pockets just sitting there for more than a few months. And I actually was thinking they might look cute on the side, right? Like that? Does that look cute? I think that looks cute. I mean, it's probably going to look cuter from the front, but I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to stitch these on, and then we can finally try this on and style it up. Okay, I still can't believe in nearly 2,000 tutorials, articles, sustainable style posts, I haven't shared a upcycled jeans to maxi skirt tutorial. I'm in shock about that. But this came out absolutely perfect, and it is so comfortable. I cannot tell you. Now I know some of you may be thinking, the slit in the front is a little bit too generous, but you know what? It is no shorter than any of my short skirts, so I don't have an issue with it at all. If you do, all you have to do is make that fold a little bit deeper in the front and it makes the slit lower. Really, really easy. Or you can fill in that whole slit with just a simple triangle of fabric. How cool would that look? Very cool. I think that might be another tutorial coming up. We'll see. If you're already subscribed and have been following me for a little while, you will absolutely recognize these jeans that I upsized, but you know what? I'm just not really feeling them. I'm really not. So today we're going to refashion this refashion and make these jeans even cooler than they already are. So let's get making. For this hopefully a quick and easy project, all you need are your jeans. And as I said in the beginning, I am refashioning a refashion today. So if you missed this original upsizing tutorial, I shall link that original video down below for you. But we need some awesome fabric to transform these into bell bottoms. So let's go check in my fabric stash. So I know that I have the most perfect patchwork fabric in here somewhere, and of course there it is right there. So let's go put this all together now. So believe it or not, I actually made this years ago because I needed a little throw over cover for my small extra sofa bed futon that I have, and so I just put this together, and then I added an old bed sheet to the back, and I put elastics around all of the corners so it would fit nicely over my little mini sofa bed. And yeah, that now lives in my kiddo's room, and she doesn't like this cover for it, so I'm now going to use this to create my awesome patchwork bell bottoms. So because I had already upsized these jeans and they still fit me, I just want to make them into cool patchwork bell bottoms now. So the bottom is clearly going to be a lot wider than the top, but I still need to have enough fabric up here to keep them upsized for my body. So I'm just going to quickly measure here, and it's about 4 centimeters. So I think I'll do 5 or 6 centimeters up at the top of my insert fabric, just to make sure I have enough seam allowance and they're still going to fit me. Okay, so clearly the very first thing I have to do is remove these inserts, and I don't really want to faff about unpicking all these seams and then the denim's going to fray and everything. So I'm just going to simply chop them out and then add another centimeter to the top of my patchwork inserts, because I think I'm going to be chopping off about 1 centimeter worth of the denim here. So now that my previous inserts are all chopped out, I can go ahead and create my giant triangle inserts to put into these jeans to make them into bell bottoms. I just had a thought though, you may be working with jeans that you haven't previously upsized. So if that's the case, you can simply go ahead and chop out those side seams so you're not wasting time trying to unpick everything. And if you would like to check out all of my other trouser and jean and pants upsizing tutorials, I shall link that playlist down below for you. So as you can see, I already went ahead and chopped out a couple of fairly even large triangles from my awesome patchwork fabric, and I did make them a little bit wider at the top because, you know, I am using them for upsizing those jeans still, and definitely a lot wider on the bottom. So now I'm just going to go even these up, and I have to sew these back together because I still want to keep the front and the back here. I do think it's important to have the lining because I don't want this against my skin. Plus it gives it a little bit more structure. So I'm going to go do that, and then we're going to put them on the jeans. So I now have my front piece and my back piece all nicely stitched together. And when I flip it right side out, we have something that looks like this. Now, clearly I do have to go and press this so it is nice and flat here on the edges, and I have wonderful straight lines that I can be working with when I'm stitching this on my jeans. So as much as I hate ironing, guys, it really, really does help with the finished product to have wonderful flat straight seams. So I'm going to go flip this right side out and then go iron both of these, and then we can finally get them into the jeans. And you see what I mean? My edges here are all nice and crisp and flat, and everything is just very nicely ironed. So now we can go put these in the jeans and finish off what I hope will be a pair of amazingly awesome bell bottoms. Okay, so I have my jeans laid out flat, and if you recall, they have been chopped from the waistband all the way through the side seam and through that bottom hem as well. And now I'm just going to grab one of my groovy bell-bottom panels here, and I'm going to line it up with the right sides facing. And I'm going to start with the back. I just always like starting with the back because it's a lot easier, because in the front, you got to kind of faff around here with the pockets. In the back, it's just easy. Okay, so I'm going to line up with the top of the waistband here, my lovely clean edge that has been pressed, of course, and then I'm just going to stitch all the way down. As always, don't forget to have those right sides facing, right? I mean, sometimes I do, and then you got to unpick the whole thing, and it's just a nightmare. So always make sure you got your right sides facing. Okay, I'm going to go stitch this together, and we're going to come back and see what it looks like. Alrighty, it is all stitched on from the waistband all the way down to the bottom hem, and look at that. Look at how perfect that looks. I am too excited to go finish stitching this on. And of course, I'm going to have to finish off the bottom. So here is a quick little tip just before I go finish this off. I always like to leave extra fabric here. Like you can see, this is extra long. And then I do not stitch all the way to the bottom of the bottom hem here, because I like to be able to fold this in and then match it perfectly up with the bottom hem and then stitch it all together. I have to go and now match up the right sides here with the front and go stitch that down, and then repeat the whole process with the other side of these jeans. So my jeans are now totally done, and instead of simply hemming up the raw edges on the bottom hems, I grabbed a strip of my patchwork and I bound up the hems, and I think it looks so cool. So now it is finally time to try these on and style them up. Oh, totally awesome did these come out. I have shocked myself once again. I used an old patchwork sofa cover that I had made and transformed a pair of jeans into the most awesomely amazing pair of jeans ever in the world, on the planet, I think. Do let me know down below if you're going to try this. We are here to talk about our jeans, and in particular, those favorite pairs of jeans that are mended and mended and mended, and you just keep wearing them over and over and over. But you know what, before that, if you guys want to know how I created my awesome patchwork vest, I shall link that fab free tutorial down below for you as well. But let's get on with the jeans here. These jeans I have had for about 7 years, and I only ever have like one pair of black jeans. I don't know why, and I wear them and wear them and wear them, so I should definitely try to thrift more. But these fit me perfectly. I love them so much, and you can see that I mended them and mended them and mended them and mended them. But unfortunately, this behind area here just couldn't take any more mending. So now it's time to upcycle them into something totally different. And yeah, that's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna make these jeans into an awesome Y2K style ruffled skirt. So let's get making. Okay, so to create this absolutely adorable salute to Y2K fashion, which somehow has come back in style once again, all you need are your jeans and your sewing gear. That's it. And I have mine inside out already, and that is so I can show you just, how many times these have been mended and patched and mended and patched. That's quite a few. And let me know down below if you have the same issue as me. I don't blow out my jeans so much in the thighs, although I do have a lovely mending video for that. I will link it down below for you. But for me, it's more here in the kind of bottom area. I don't know why it gets blown out here. I don't even want to think about maybe why, but let's just ignore that anyway. So, yeah, you can see it's just not comfortable anymore, and it's actually starting to go a little bit here again, and I just can't add any more patches. It's getting quite uncomfortable. So what do you do when you can't mend anymore? Well, you transform it into something else that you want to wear. So let's just get started doing that. Okay, so I've tried to make these as flat as possible here, but of course the patches keep popping up. But the first thing you want to do is simply chop off that patched up or destroyed area of your jeans, or if you're using like jeans that aren't destroyed, you just want to chop it a few centimeters under the pockets. You want to completely get rid of this kind of bulky area on the jeans. Okay, so this didn't come out super straight, so all I'm going to do is fold the top of my jeans in half as evenly as possible, making sure everything is once again as flat and neat as I can get it. And you can kind of see here, it's quite a bit that needs to be chopped off there. That was really not great cutting. But then all you have to do is chop off the excess bit here, and your jeans will be a lot more even. Okay, so now I'm just going to take the top bit and set it aside for now and grab those denim legs that we chopped off, because this is what we're going to make the rest of the skirt out of. So the first thing I'm going to do is just chop out this crotch area, because we really don't need it at all, and it's bulky and annoying. And again, this doesn't have to be perfect whatsoever at this point. So first I'm going to chop off both of the hems, and now I'm going to chop out the thick seam here as well as the seam on the other side of the pant legs. So I have my thick seams and my denim hems all chopped, and I'm wondering, does anybody else save their chopped thick seams and denim hems? Because I always do, because they make really, really cool bracelets. Like seriously, I think I might actually do one like that. La la! Okay, so now we have 1, 2, 3, and 4 lengths of fabric. So now let's go make this into a skirt. Okay, so I have 2 pieces from one leg, and I've popped them together with right sides facing, and these are like not even at all. I want to have nice, smooth rectangles, so I lined up the straightest edge as best as I could, and we're now going to go chop this so it's going to be relatively even, and we'll be able to make some nice ruffles out of it. Okay, so I now have 4 relatively even-ish rectangular lengths of fabric, and you can see here one set is definitely wider than the other set, and that's simply because of how I chopped off the seams. That's just what's going to happen. And so I think we're going to start with the thicker ones, and all I'm going to do is stitch this into a loop. So that just means I'm going to stitch this open end together, and then I'm going to stitch this open end together, and we're going to create a big fabric loop. Okay, you can see here I have created my 2 big fabric loops, and because I don't have a serger that finishes off my edges nicely, and you can see this denim is definitely fraying here, I did go ahead and I did a straight stitch, then I zigzagged over top, and then I finished off the edge here by trimming it with my pinking shears. And if you don't know what those are, this is what they are. And it's just, you know, zigzag tooth scissors, and it really does help to slow down the fraying. It doesn't prevent it entirely, but it definitely helps to slow it down. Okay, it is now finally time to attach these ruffles and create our skirt. So I had a bit of a conundrum, and I was thinking, okay, I could stitch this together with right sides facing, and then the seam would kind of be hidden like that. But then I was thinking, you know, this is fraying a lot, so let's work with the fray and let's stitch it with the inside sides together. So then that fray seam will be on the outside, which will add another layer of awesomeness to this already adorable little ruffle skirt. Okay, I am a little bit embarrassed to admit just how long it took me to figure out how to put these together so I would have my right sides on the outside, but also that, you know, fray seam on the outside. That was crazy. That took me way too long. But anyway, I got it. So now you guys don't have to faff around trying to figure it out because I figured it out. Okay, so you need to have the top part of your jeans inside out and one of your fabric loops right side out. And then that way, when it's all stitched together and you fold down your fabric loop, it will be correct with the inside to the inside and the outside facing the outside along with that seam. Okay, I got it. I figured it out. Now we can move on to doing our little ruffles. And if you've been following me for a while, you know that I love doing pin tucks. That's pretty much the only way I do my ruffles because it's just so easy. So for my pin tucks, I simply line up the side seams like so, and I do that on both sides just to make my life a little tiny bit easier. And then all I have to do is do my little pin tucks all along with this excess hanging fabric here until it's all nice and lined up. So that's what I'm going to do now. And again, I just eyeball this, and sometimes I get it right on the first try and sometimes it takes me a couple tries, but it's just the easiest way that I taught myself how to do this. And like I said, it is so super duper easy. And once you have one side done, then you know the amount and the size of the pin tucks to do on the other side. So I successfully have all of my pin tucks ready to go, and now I'm just going to go do a really simple straight stitch all the way around, and then I'm going to check it, and if everything's fine, I'll repeat my process with the zigzag, and then it should be done, and we'll put on the next layer. Okay, this actually worked, and I think it is going to look phenomenal once it is all frayed. So now I'm going to go zigzag this, and then I'm going to attach the second layer ruffle to the bottom of this one, doing the exact same method that I used to attach the top to the first ruffle. Okay, so it's all stitched together, and I was just having a thought here that because I put like the finished edge here on the inside, I won't have any bulky seams to worry me or bother me, because I don't know about you, but that's something that super bothers me when interior seams on garments are like bulky and you're just so conscious of them all the time. Anyway, that's my weird little mental thing. Look how adorable that is. This came out absolutely perfectly, and I cannot wait to go try it on and style it up. I now have an adorable, kind of ruffled but definitely frayed hem skirt that I can wear. And what did I do? I made it from a pair of jeans that I simply could not wear anymore, and now I have something I can wear from something I couldn't wear. And I've repeated that too many times, I'm sorry, but this is the beauty of upcycling and refashioning. If you have something you don't like because it doesn't fit, or you just don't like how it looks, or it's damaged beyond repair, then transform it into something else you can actually wear. That rhymes. I'm a poet and I actually know it. That was an absolutely awesome decade of denim. Oh, this is heavy. From 2013 to 2024. Holy crap, I made loads of items and shared them all with you, proving that affordable, sustainable fashion isn't just possible, it is absolutely powerful, and anyone can do this. You see how easy it is. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, to this moment in time right now, you are now officially part of my Refashionista revolution. And congratulations. I adore you. I thank you. You are absolutely frickin' fabulous. Don't even think about stopping there. Please absolutely let me know what my next epically awesome compilation video should be. I have no-sew tutorials, dresses, bags, accessories, trousers, upsizing, downsizing, you name it. I have a vault full of archived awesome tutorials just waiting to be shared and given a new life. You see, that is the greatest thing about refashioning as well. It doesn't matter if a tutorial was made in 2013 when I was just starting out. It is still relevant and usable today, but the voiceovers definitely need to be redone on those ones. And until next time, stay safe, stay well, and I'll catch ya on the zigzag. Once again, thank you for joining my rockin' Refashionista revolution.
This is Confessions of a Refashionista.